Namaste. I'm Dr. Anita Chitkara. In this special series, I'm introducing various subject matter specialists who will enrich us with their knowledge and expertise in their area. My guest today is Dr. Jyoti Maheshwari, who is a renowned psychiatrist and a psychotherapist. She's based out of Mumbai. She has conducted over hundreds of workshops to spread awareness about mental and emotional health. She has appeared as a panelist on several TV channels to discuss mental health. She is also associated with many NGOs where she works closely with special children and elderly people. So I'm very glad to have a discussion with Dr. Jyoti Maheshwari. Welcome, Dr. Jyoti Maheshwari, in this show. And as I introduce you, you are a psychiatrist and a psychotherapist. So many people fail to understand what is the difference between a psychiatrist and a psychotherapist. Can you explain how we have to identify both of them? And I also want to add another term called psychologist. So please explain what is the difference between all three of them.
Thank you, Anita, for inviting me. And first of all, congratulations to you for starting this new series.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is very commonly asked question, like, people get a lot of confusion about it. So let me say, see, all three, psychologists, psychotherapists, psychiatrists, all three deal with the mental health. Okay. In that, what is the difference is, psychologists are the one who are BA, after that MA. They are master's degree, but they are not qualified doctors, so they cannot prescribe the medicine.
So, but they are aware of the mental health. So they are taught only mental health.
Okay. Right. So that's what I said. All three deal with the mental health. Okay. Whether psychologist, psychotherapist, or psychiatrist, all three. But psychologists are trained for the psychological testing and the counseling. Okay. So that is what they do it, but they cannot prescribe the medicine.
Okay.
And psychiatrists are the one who have the degree in medicine. So they do the proper MBBS, and after that there is a post graduation in psychological medicine. So that is how they are trained to prescribe the medication. They can do that.
Okay.
And now third is a psychotherapist. Now psychotherapists are the one who practice the psychotherapy. That is a kind of treatment. It is called as a talk therapy also. There are different types of psychotherapies which are there. So this is what a different therapy. Like there is medicine is called drug therapy, or biological medicine. There is the electroconvulsive therapy, and this is the psychotherapy or talk therapy. So psychotherapy can be practiced by psychologists as well as psychiatrists. Whoever gets the training into psychotherapy, they can practice that, and they can be called as a psychotherapist.
Okay, so I get what is all three of them. They are working on your mental health, but psychologists cannot prescribe the medicine, but they are very trained to know your mind and help you in the mental health issues. Psychiatrists can give the medication, and they understand your mental health, and they can help you out with medication also. And third, you told psychotherapist who can help you by talking to you or understanding your mental health, and also counseling and various other ways. Without medicine, they help you in resolving your mental health issues.
Right.
So this is what I understood. Is it right?
Yeah, very true.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. So that's a very good answer for this, because many people struggle that if we have an issue, where should we go? To a psychologist or to a psychotherapist? Or so that is a very good answer you have given me. And is there any difference between mental health or emotional health? As we usually see, our emotions are also in turmoil. And is there any difference between two, or they are the same things?
I won't say exactly they are same, though they are very much related to it. Okay, because again, when you talk about emotion, they are also related with your mind. Your mind plays the major role in your emotion. Yeah, what I can say maybe is emotional health is a part of mental health. Okay, mental health is a bit vast. emotional health is restricted only to emotion. So, any kind of emotional disturbance in day-to-day life when we experience. Okay. So, person may not be having exactly a biological illness per se, a mental illness, but still can have an emotional disturbance. Okay. So
Okay.
that is emotional health. While in mental health, there will be the mental illnesses as well. Like, to clarify it little better, I would put it, generally we say that any kind of mental health issue, we divide it into three categories.
Okay.
First being the disturbance,
Yes.
and being disorder, and third being disease.
Okay.
So disturbance is what we face generally day to day life. Something doesn't go as per our wish, or we get into argument with someone, we lose something. So on and so forth. So those are emotional disturbances where we feel angry, anxiety is there. Otherwise, we feel worried or irritable, right? So this part, the disturbance part, we can put it as the emotional health.
Okay.
While the disorder and disease, okay, and all these three combined will called as a mental health.
Okay. So emotional disturbance leads to the mental health problems. That is what I understand. Okay.
Exactly.
So in case
Exactly.
we are able to manage our emotions and put them into the right perspective and handle our emotions in the first place only, then the mental health will be better, or mental issues will not even arise. That is what I understood from your discussion.
I won't say that mental issues won't arise, but yeah, definitely your mental health will be much better. Okay,
Okay.
if you learn to deal with it. Yeah, if you learn to control your disturbances, maybe the disorder part will be a little bit, you can avoid. But why I'm saying that you cannot completely avoid everything, because what I mentioned as disease, okay, where there is a schizophrenia, there is a bipolar disorder, there is a depression, major depression. So all this have a genetic background to it. Okay, so the causative factor is there. So if you are genetically predisposed, then yeah, chances that you will get that in your lifetime, when we don't know in lifetime, but sometime in your life you may get it. Okay, so chances are higher. So it's not only related to your disturbance part, right?
Okay, even
So
if you have like very healthy emotional health, like you are able to handle your emotions, but if these illnesses, which I will talk to you in details later, these illnesses, if they have to come because of your own genetic makeup and other issues, they will come despite
yeah,
your emotional health also. Okay,
right,
okay. So
right.
these are genetic issues which you are talking about. We will understand more about these illness in our later part of the discussion. So this is good that in case we have emotional issues, we are more prone to mental health, but emotional issues can be dealt separately, and mental health issues can also be there because of your genetic makeup and other problems also. This is what I understood. So you can reinforce. I'm just repeating what you are saying so that people who are not aware of this kind of discrimination between the mental health and the emotional health, they can also understand. Okay.
Right. So, to reinforce, I would say that emotional disturbances which are there, which almost I would say 98, rather I can put it even 99% people go through it. So it's
Okay.
almost each and everyone has to learn to deal with your emotional disturbances,
Mm-hmm.
because they may get into the disorder or disease, or may not. But yeah, your life becomes much better if
Much
you
better.
learn to deal with it. Yeah, and definitely in case if you are prone to having any kind of mental illnesses, if you already have the disturbance, it will kind of compound, the whole effect will
Yeah.
be much more, right?
Yes.
So that is why disturbances needs to be tackled, definitely. And
Of course.
mental illnesses as and when arise, you can take the treatment for that.
Okay, okay. That's a very, very good explanation, and very good information for the people who are struggling to understand how to handle their emotion. So, my next question definitely is going to be how and when to start handling your emotions. See, in our schools, we are not taught how to handle our emotions. in our homes sometimes we also fail to understand how to handle our emotions. So can you in a very very simple words explain what are emotions and how should we handle them?
Right. Yeah, very good question. And Anita, actually, yesterday only I was discussing with, I mean, rather, my son was asking me recently what has been into the news. So he was saying, Mama, the money or your recognition, success, nothing matters. Like, okay, if your mental health is not good
True.
and you are emotionally not strong,
Yes.
then everything's kind of waste. And I said, yeah, very much. So he said, if that is so, then why we are not taught about it? We don't know anything about it.
Yes, this
We
is
are
so
taught
obvious with the people, successful people committing suicide and successful, in terms of social health, in terms of financial health, in terms of physical health. And we see and we just look up to their lives, with awe. And such a big actor, recently committed suicide, which has shaken the entire young people, rather everyone, because with such good life, if somebody goes through this kind of emotion or this kind of this way, he chooses this way to end his life, that is such a sad state of affair. So it is very important to now understand. Your son is very right when he says that with everything, if your mental health is not proper and not at place, what is the point of having everything? So please explain how to handle our emotions.
right. So the emotional, having and learning and understanding emotional, I would say it should start from the childhood. The time from when the children start understanding what are the emotional, because I see a lot of children also having a lot of anger issues. Okay, so it starts at as early as that, maybe say around 5-6 years of age of children also, they throw tantrum and they in anger outburst kind of throw things and everything. So I would say it starts from the childhood.
Right.
And when I think you have to manage your emotional disturbances, so what are those emotional disturbances? It is your anger, your irritation, your anxiety, your jealousy or envious feelings to other. All these emotional disturbances which are there, okay, all they need to be tackled. We have to understand basically the first thing. What is, when I say you need to understand and deal with it, we have to understand what is the origin of it. Why do we have all these emotions? Why do we get angry? Why do we worry so much? Why do we feel envious about others' success or others, um, whatever financial achievement and everything? So where is the origin? Understanding that, okay, and dealing with it. Because when we work on the root cause, then obviously there won't be any kind of a emotional disturbance won't arise from there. So I would say it has to start from the childhood and one has to work onto the cause of emotional disturbances.
Yes, I understand that. But when you say you start from the childhood, so parents have to take the responsibility, because as a
Right.
child, you will not know why I'm doing this and why I'm behaving in a certain way or why I'm feeling in a certain way. So I think parents need to be educated about emotions and also how to deal with them. So do you think, I know it's a out of the line question, do you think the food what we are fed, what children are fed nowadays, has also some influence of the on the mental health or emotional health?
Uh, Not exactly directly it is there. The direct effect, I won't say that. Okay. Though in only one disorder in the children, that is what is called as ADHD, attention deficit hyperactivity.
Okay.
Certain kinds of foods has been said that they kind of aggravate that attention deficit. Restlessness is aggravated, but apart from that, I won't say that directly it is there. But yeah, it would have the effect because see, if you're having a healthy diet and everything, general health and general well-being will be there.
Taken care of.
So would automatically reduce your stress.
Right.
So that way, yeah, it is related with that.
Okay.
But the direct effect as such, I won't say anything which is there.
Yeah, coming back to emotions as a child also. So I think the responsibility of parents and teachers becomes more in this case, because child will not know why I'm behaving in a certain way. So it has to be depicted by the parents at the early age, and also educated. The parents have to educate child that these are the emotions which the child should, I would say, taper down, because we cannot say कि emotion आना ही नहीं चाहिए. Emotion तो आएगा जो भी है, चाहे वो jealousy का है, hatred का है, anger का है, that has to be there. But how to taper it down and how to cope up with that emotion, I think parents and teachers can teach. So, how do we tell our parents, young parents particularly, who are very busy and have no time to spend with children, and how will you, what message will you give them, and how they should take care of their children's emotion?
Yeah. So first of all, right, I would like to say that okay, all these emotions are not have to be there. Obviously, over a period when we start training ourselves, we come to the stage where we get that emotional stability, and where ultimately we have only peace. Okay, there are no disturbances as such. But that is obviously at the ultimate stage. Yeah. So to begin with, in the beginning, first stage is parents themselves have to realize it. They realize their own emotional disturbance. They realize how to cope up with it. Because unless and until they learn it, they won't be able to guide their children properly. So first, they need to focus on themselves. They need to understand and be aware whenever they are having any kind of emotional disturbance. So it is okay to have the emotional disturbance at that time. You don't have to go through a guilt feeling for that, but address it. So in adults, I would say one has to look within rather than outside. What is the cause for those? Whenever one is angry or worried, what is the cause? So look for that in themselves and work onto that. So that is like in short, I'm just saying how one has to work
Yes.
onto it.
Yeah.
Having done that, right, they can focus on children, and for children, they have to tell them that it's okay. Yeah, as you rightly, one thing you pointed out is today people don't have much of time, and that is one big thing. And because lack of time, they don't have a proper communication. And since there is no communication, they are not able to guide children, and children are not able to communicate and open up what they are going through it. What
Yeah.
is their emotional turmoil, right? So first and foremost, that time is required. And again, as commonly said, that quality what matters, not the quantity. So
Yes.
what is that quality is whenever you are together, time spending is not you're just sitting in one room together with your own gadgets in hand.
Yes.
When you are sitting
Yeah.
together,
Actually,
talk to each other.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
Communication,
very
listening and saying, expressing yourself, also listening, both should be in a very, very proper way. So we can have a whole episode on this, how to
exactly.
handle these emotions. So when we were talking, you mentioned there are so many illnesses, mental illnesses like depression, which is very, very common these days. And you also named bipolar disorder and schizophrenia. So, can you just, in a very, very simple words, tell us what are these mental, how many types of mental illnesses are there, and what are the most commonly found mental illnesses, so that we are aware that when it is coming?
Right, right. Yeah. So commonly, as we say, generally it is divided as an anxiety disorder, mood disorder, and psychotic disorder. All these are coming under the mental illnesses. Okay.
Okay.
So when I say anxiety, the common being the panic attacks any a time when people feel suddenly they feel very breathless, their heart beats faster, they have the sweaty hand, maybe sometimes they feel giddy. Exactly, maybe when you go and you have to talk in front of a public, a kind of anxiety what you feel, something like that. but at very high intensity and very short period of time. So that is what is the panic attack.
So
Then
panic
there is
attack, yeah, it is the basis, the cause of the panic attack will be fear because somebody is fearful about expression. या जैसे आपने बोला कि पब्लिक के सामने जाने से पहले पैनिक अटैक आने की संभावना है. So is it that fear, the cause of this panic attack is fear or something else?
not exactly. If it is a proper panic disorder as such, then there is no specific cause. Okay. I gave you example for that. That is more of a social anxiety. What I said, when you have to address to the people, okay, or a stage fright, what it is commonly called. But the symptoms are same. Generally, in panic disorder, there is no specific cause. It just comes just like that. Generally, it is okay.
Okay.
So
it can be anybody at any age.
Yeah, generally it is seen in young age group, say around 20s to 30s period. But again, it's not restricted only to that. It can happen any age.
So this is the anxiety based.
Right. Okay. So panic attack is quite common. Then secondly, it is also the OCD, the obsessive compulsive disorder. That is one common thing, and which again people are not aware, and many times they don't come forward for the help in time, and it becomes very chronic stage, and then it becomes difficult to manage.
So can you explain what is OCD, obsessive?
Right. So obsessive compulsive disorder, actually there are two factors, the obsession and compulsion. The obsession being your thought or image, which is repetitively it's coming in your mind, okay? Which you don't want it to have, but it keeps coming, and that thought or that image creates anxiety. And to get rid of anxiety, people start doing some kind of ritual or some kind of exercise. Okay, that is what called as a compulsion. To explain it better, I will take a common example. Like people have obsession of dirt, a doubt. They feel that they touch anywhere and their hands are dirty. Even if they touch on very clean subject, or maybe they touch someone else also, so they feel their hands are dirty. And then that anxiety that they are going to catch some kind of a illness or something, they will go and start washing hands. Now that washing hands relieve their anxiety for some time. After some time, even if they haven't touched anyone again, still they feel that their hands are not washed properly. So they will go and again wash their hands. So repeatedly washing hands, that will become a compulsion. Why? Having this doubt in mind that they will catch some kind of a illness or infection. That is what is the obsession.
Okay.
So this is what
this is very commonly found, and which is known to be as a nature of a person, but we don't find it that it is an illness. It's a beginning of an illness. Yes, that is
right. Yeah,
informative. Yes, that's
not very cleanliness freak and everything. What is the one factor we have to decide that it's not just the part of your personality, or it's not just personality trait but illness, when it starts taking too much of your time at the cost of your social personal life. When you keep on doing the same thing, you're not bothered about anything. Okay. So that is when one has to realize that it's a time when one has to go and seek the help.
Okay.
Right. So yeah. So that is panic attack, OCD. These are common anxiety disorder. There's like list goes on. We can have one separate thing on that. Yes. But I'll just shortly.
Yeah, today we are just touching everything so that we are aware of many issues that which we are struggling for, and which are going to influence and impact our lives later on. Because right now we are any which ways going through lots of uncertainty, fearful and anxious times we are having, and there is so much of insecurity that how our lives will take their turns. And in this area, we are listening to so many tragedies around healthy people. Any which ways, the illness which we are facing, the COVID-19, is taking lives for so many people. But healthy people are also, like physically healthy people are also taking their lives, which is very, very disturbing. So that is why this mental health issue is a very common, and everybody is talking about it. But I want to just make sure that these things don't go unnoticed. So people who are going through these things, they can just, it's raising an alarm for them that, okay, get up and, help yourself, or get up and people around you are going through. So let us explain this, and then the next thing we will be I'll be asking you, please help us in telling people, educating people how to pinpoint these issues and help people around us. So first, okay, anxiety based issues we have discussed. Now let us go to the next level.
Yeah, so one is as I said, the anxiety disorder, which are common. Then second is the mood disorder. In that there is depression as well as bipolar disorder. Okay. Now depression is very common, and a very, what I would say, less diagnosed, because people are not aware, they don't take help. So depression is where basically one feel very low, sad all the time. The sleep is not good. Either they sleep very less or they land up sleeping a lot. The appetite goes down. There is a lot of guilt feeling which is there. There is no hope. Person who is suffering through depression, they feel very helpless, hopeless, and they feel worthless, and that is what sometimes leads to suicidal ideation, and maybe some people land up committing suicide. So that is what is depression. While bipolar is, there are two.
I just want to know more about depression, because most of the people, in their lives feel sad, feel helpless, feel worthless, because everybody goes through these little highs and little lows in their lives. Sometimes they don't know how their careers are not taking up, or their love affair or relationships break, and at that moment also they are feeling the same. So do you think that is also depression, or that's a temporary phase and depression is something deep seated?
Yeah. See, there is a difference between sadness and depression.
Yeah, that's sadness. Explain.
Yeah, generally, commonly, many people experience when things are not happening or we lose something. Okay, so that is what is the sadness. While depression, as I said, as mentioned, all the characteristics which are there, when they are there combined, like okay, at least 4-5 factors from that, which is there, and continuously for at least a 2 weeks period. So it's not like one day you're feeling sad and next day you're fine and life goes on. It's not like that. But continuously, if there is a sleep disturbance, you're feeling sad, you're feeling irritable, you're not able to focus on your work or even the household activity, whatever. Don't feel a kind of, there is a losing interest in whatever activities you have been enjoying. As simple as going out with the friends. Okay. One does not like to do that, or do not want to talk to anyone or communicate with anyone. Prefer to remain alone. Okay. So all these symptoms, when they are continuously there for at least 2 weeks time, continuously it's going on, it's an alarm.
That 2 weeks is the time. Okay.
Right. Having said that, what you mentioned, the love affair, broken relationship, or job not getting, failure in the lives, all this. Sometimes the depression is seen in these cases also. So since we are talking, I would just mention here that depression, when we say, there are two different types. One is the endogenous depression or biological depression. The other one is the psychological or reactive depression. Okay, so reactive depression is more related to the stressors in your life, whatever may be the stressor, but it is that. While endogenous depression comes even if there is no stressor in your life. Okay, that everything is perfectly fine, there is no issue. Many times patient comes to me and they say, doctor, in our life everything is fine, I don't have any issue. Like, okay, maybe husband is fine, or husband would say the wife is fine and job is okay, children are well settled, and suddenly now we are feeling very low. So there's no reason, it's a biological cause. There is a chemical imbalance in the brain, and that's why a person gets the depression.
So when should the medication be taken? When the endogenous depression is there, or the other depression comes with a stressor?
Yeah. So medicines are must in endogenous, biological. Okay. Any amount of therapy is not going to help because it's internal. It's like, as I always give example to my patient, that if you have a diabetes, just by talking to you, I cannot change any kind of insulin deficiency inside your body.
Right.
Similarly, here, whatever chemical imbalance which is there in your brain, that cannot be corrected just by talking to the person. So endogenous depression, one has to take medication. There's no alternative for that. While in reactive, sometimes we have to prescribe medicine that is symptomatic.
So thank you so much for telling me this. And what is the next one which we have to talk about, mood disorder?
Yeah. So next mood disorder में आता है bipolar disorder. As the name suggests, it's a bipolar. So there are two poles. One being very low, the depression. What I explained, the similar kind of depressive episodes will be there. While there is another phase, the another pole, which is the high. Generally, patients are in very high phase where they are more energetic. Maybe they are more cheerful, or they can be very irritable. They have a lot of energy, so they'll end up doing the work which is not required also. Like one of my patient, she used to just take out all the clothes and wash. Even wash clothes also, she'll take it out and again wash it.
Okay.
So people will necessarily do the extra activity. They will talk a lot. They will spend a lot.
Oh.
Like one of my patient, he used to give 100 rupees to the what you say, the beggars, just like that. Sometime 100, sometime 500 rupees. Another patient used to make ISD calls and everything which were not required, and he would talk for hours together.
Okay.
So yeah, so
बहुत लोग जैसे माइजर हो गए या फिर टू एक्स्ट्रावेगेंट हो गए, तो we have to keep watching also. Some people.
And that's like what is not their basic. Again, you cannot compare two people. Someone by nature also would be little more, expensive, or someone will be little introvert, so doesn't talk much compared to other person. So here there is no comparison between two people, but it is comparing to the person's basic personality, basic nature, how person generally behave. So whether he has gone into the low mood or he has gone into the high mood, depending on that.
Okay.
So that is what is the bipolar. So in bipolar illness also, medicines are must. There is no other, because otherwise either patient can become dangerous to oneself, where suicide comes into the picture.
Even in the
Or
higher mode also, like when they are giving.
sometime, but not much, mainly in depression. But in high mode, they can become little agitated and aggressive, and they can become homicidal. I mean, they are danger to other people.
Okay.
Because they also go into the delusion where they feel they have a lot of power, while even the person may be physically really thin or something, but he can feel that okay, he can fight with so many people, and he'll land up into the problem. Right. So it is required that medicines are must in this illnesses, where no which, and timely if it's taken, this illness can be controlled really well. The person is under treatment, one won't come to know that this person is suffering from bipolar.
Okay.
Is as back to normal as one can be.
So what I understand, in the mood swing medications like illnesses, one is depression when you feel very, very low, and another is bipolar when you continuously either feel low or you are in a higher state. Higher state means like hyperactive or you become spendthrift, or you just have too much of energy to spend, and without any reason and without any purpose, you keep working or you keep spending. That is what I understand. Is it this? Is this the right
Yeah,
way to understand?
basically, yeah. The mood wise, basically, person is either in very cheerful or irritable mood, and he is high on energy and everything.
Okay. What is the next one? The third.
And the last is the psychotic disorder, where common one is schizophrenia.
Okay.
There are a lot, but we'll be talking only about schizophrenia, where person generally have two characteristic features of it, which are called in technical terms the hallucinations and delusion. So hallucinations and delusion.
Illusions. Okay.
Yeah. So hallucination can be like the auditory or visual. Auditory means the person will feel that he is hearing some voices. Either people are talking to him or talking amongst themselves, while there is no stimulus outside. Still, he feel that people are talking about him. So he either hear voices, or there can be a visual where he sees certain images in absence of any kind of stimulus. So these are hallucinations. and which is kind of real for the person. So for him, it's like, other person who's looking will find it very strange that there is nothing and why person is saying so. But
Yeah.
the person who's
What I
suffering,
understand by this schizophrenia, when you say that hallucination, people start imagining, or they have this reality in their mind that somebody is
yeah,
talking to them, or they are
right,
looking at somebody and speaking at somebody. Yes.
right.
Okay.
So it's not imagination for them, it's real. Like they feel that people are talking to him. He is hearing voices. Maybe the person is not there in front of him, but he is hearing those voices.
Okay.
And
For the patient, this person, this experience is very real. But actually,
very
when
real.
people are the people around him can know that this is a hallucination. Yes.
Right, right.
Okay.
And that is how, like, that's why you see sometimes these schizophrenic people, they talk to themselves. It's
Yes.
very characteristic. Yeah, the relatives will come, or someone, if you see a person suffering from schizophrenia, they are talking to themselves. So actually, for them, they are talking or responding to those voices what they are hearing.
Okay. Okay.
And there is a delusion where delusion is nothing but a false but firm belief. It's
Okay.
not the truth, but it is very firmly held. So because of that, person have this delusion that people are following him or people are against him or her, and they are going to trouble the patient himself or his family. So sometimes, like, I have seen patients who go and lodge the complaint in the police station, FIR and something. So
Okay.
that, for them, this is so real when actually nothing is happening, but they feel, no, this so and so person or whoever it is, they are troubling me, they are going to harm me, they are giving me threats. So this
Okay.
is what is a delusion.
So,
So
like the person is scared of everything around him, and he just believes that everybody is there to harm me or trouble me or attack on me. There are certain, because we have seen in life also certain people who are trying to, just suspect everybody. They become very, very suspicious of
suspicious.
everybody's information.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah. So that suspiciousness is very characteristic of it. So this is what is schizophrenia. Again, here in schizophrenia, as it is a illness, the medicines are must. The medications are required, and there are a lot many different kinds of medication which have come. And with the medication, person can come back to normal. This illness can be controlled.
Okay, talking about medications, I would like to ask you, Dr. Jyoti, that many people have this stigma कि once they start the medication, first thing they don't have belief कि medication से कुछ फर्क पड़ेगा. Another thing is they have this idea in the mind that if they start the medication, that will be for life. So if they will not be able to stop.
Right.
And the third thing they have, there is another stigma around it that. If they take medication and their mental health will take uh, another turn, that their the wiring of their mind or their neurological system will change, and they don't want to change that. So these are three things which people are very scared of, and then they think कि ये तो normal होता है, mood swings normal होते हैं, depression normal होता है, सबको होता है, तो फिर क्या हुआ, क्या problem है, so why take medication? So I would like your views on this.
Yeah. I'm glad that you asked this question because I see this in and out with so many people. It's not only layman, lot many doctors also have misconception about psychiatric medications. But let me tell you that these medications are required and they're very scientific. It's like in neurology, a brain structure is defective and that's how person gets illness. While in psychiatry, the function of brain is affected because of chemical imbalance. So it's very, very much biological, and that is where medicines are must. It is required, and all these are misconceptions. Something like one is, as I said, okay, they are maybe just sleeping tablets. That's very commonly people feel that they are nothing but just sleeping tablets.
Yes, yes. बहुत सारे लोग कहते हैं कि ये दवाई खाने से सिर्फ नींद ही
बस
आती है.
सोते रहते हैं हम लोग. सो लेकिन स्लीपिंग टैबलेट्स नहीं है वो, या तो एंटी डिप्रेसेंट है या तो एंजियोलिटिक है या एंटी साइकोटिक्स है. हाँ, कोई कोई मेडिसिन में नींद भी आती है कोई कोई मेडिसिन से, बट इट इज रिक्वायर्ड बिकॉज एज आई सेड अर्लियर इन सिम्टम, one of the symptom of your mental health is not well is your sleep disturbance. People don't get good sleep, so it is very much required. So that is why that feature is effect is there in that medicine.
Okay.
So it is like, क्रोसिन is there to पेन किलर बोल के भी लेते हैं, but at the same time उससे fever भी कम होता है. So there are two characteristics which are there with. So here also it also has the sedative effect. And again, having said that, not all medicines have sedative effect. So when we see the patient, then accordingly we choose the medicine. जिसमें जरूरी है, जिसका नींद का प्रॉब्लम है, तो उसमें हम वो देते हैं. So they are not sleeping tablets, they are medications which is required. Okay. Secondly, as you said, कि lifelong लेना पड़ता है. Again, it is not true for all. Okay. Just to give it very broadly, I would put it as 33%. 33% they have to take that for very short period of time, while another 30 period, and then they can stop it completely. While 33% of people, they take it and they feel all right, then they can stop it. But if their symptoms comes back again, they again have to start it. While the other 33% may have to take it for lifelong with very minimum, what we call it as a maintenance dose. Initially, to control illness, we have to give little higher doses, but then we start tapering it off and maintain them on very minimum dose.
Okay.
That they may have to take it for lifelong.
Okay.
Again, having said that, I would say that this lifelong thing is very much there. But if person is having diabetes or hypertension, tell me how long they do take medication.
Yeah, they take for life, and they are happy to take for life. Thyroid ki medication. Once they start, they have to take it for life.
They have to take it, right? They don't call that as an addiction, that they are addicted to those medicine. Right?
This is a
then why
related to.
So this is another myth that okay, once we take, we will become addicted. It's not addiction; it is requirement. Okay,
yeah.
So that is why it is.
Way to put it. Yes, it is required.
Yeah. And last, as you said, that they have myth is that it kind of changes their brain or some wiring, and it's not like that. What it changes is basically whatever that chemical imbalance which is there. All these medications helps to bring back that balance to the normal, and that is why person can have as normal life as possible. So, and there are so many newer medicines are coming, everyday research is going on, more and more medicines with lesser and lesser side effects. So that
I was about to ask you कि इनका side effect कितना होता है in medication.
Right. साइड इफेक्ट तो जैसे हर मेडिसिन के होते हैं, जैसे मैं बोल रही थी, सिंपल अगर आप क्रोसिन लेते हो या कोई एंटीबायोटिक भी लेते हो तो उसका भी एसिडिटी वगैरह होता है. सो देयर इज नॉट अ सिंगल, बिकॉज अल्टीमेटली ऑल मेडिकेशंस आर केमिकल्स बेसिकली.
Right.
So they have different kinds of effects. Whatever effect is required, that is a proper effect. Whatever is not required in that person, that is a side effect. Right. So side effect होते हैं, but जैसे मैंने बोला अभी नए नए मेडिसिन है उसमें बहुत मिनिमम साइड इफेक्ट्स होते हैं. And obviously, when we choose the medication, we see to it what all things are required. Accordingly, only we give the medication. So it's not that one same medicine goes for the all patients. So it is not like that.
So it's all right to take medication, and it is all right to know that if there is an issue, you have to reach out to people. You have to reach out to the experts and the therapists.
Exactly.
So, अभी आप मुझे ये बताइए कि हाउ डू वी आइडेंटिफाई पीपल अराउंड अस जब शुरुआत ही हो रही हो प्रॉब्लम की, क्योंकि बहुत सारे हम लोग अवेयर नहीं होते प्रॉब्लम्स के लिए. कि अब जैसे आपने ओसीडी का बताया, तो देखते भी हैं आसपास लोगों को कि जो बहुत फिनिकी हैं अबाउट सर्टेन इश्यूज और हाइजीन और अदर थिंग्स आल्सो. So how to identify कि इन लोगों को ये प्रॉब्लम है और कहाँ तक हम अपने आसपास के लोगों की मदद कर सकते हैं, पहले तो आइडेंटिफाई करने में और फिर उनकी हेल्प करने में. ये दोनों चीजें आप बताएं.
So जैसे मैंने बताया है कि पहले तो है कोई भी मेंटल हेल्थ इलनेस का जो एक बेसिक होता है द स्लीप डिस्टर्बेंस, दैट इज फॉर द इंडिविजुअल. तो पहले मैं बता रही कि आपको अपना खुद का ही है या जो भी कोई देख रहे हैं वो खुद के लिए पहले समझ ले कि अगर कहीं पर भी नींद अफेक्ट हुई है, यू आर नॉट गेटिंग स्लीप, बहुत देर से नींद आती है या बीच बीच में उठना पड़ता है या सुबह में बहुत देर से उठना पड़ता है Yeah, one gets up very early in the morning. So any kind of sleep disturbance, or a person sleeps a lot. So any kind of sleep disturbance means the person is having some mental health issue. One has to look for it. Okay. Apart from that, obviously, with the sleep, there are so many other things which I already mentioned about it.
फूड
So वो
डिसऑर्डर.
सारी चीजें होती हैं, राइट. तो ये इंडिविजुअल के लिए पहले तो है. नाउ एज यू सेड, क्योंकि हमारे आसपास का है, कोई भी होते हैं, तो दो तीन चीजें जो है हमको ध्यान रखनी है पर्सन के अंदर. वन इज बेसिकली अ मूड ऑफ पर्सन. ओके. And again, when you're comparing, again I'm saying it is with the person's basic. So person who is like, okay, very um, what you say, happy go lucky and very talkative, and that person suddenly becomes very less talkative. It doesn't like to mix with the people. So obviously there is, some problem which is going on. But yeah, person who is already introvert may not be like, okay, if he's not talking with anyone, but that is the person's basic nature, so that's okay.
Okay.
Any change in person's mood, either person is very withdrawn or not mixing around, or he's talking very much with the people, he's going out of the way unnecessarily talking to people, that. Secondly, the behavior of the person, any kind of change in person's behavior which is not there earlier, which was not seen into that person, so one has to see. And thirdly, the way person talks. Okay. Lot many times what happens, I have seen the person who are very depressed, so maybe they're not conveying directly that they are thinking of suicide or something, but they will have some kind of thing that I'm just bored of life, there's nothing left in life, I feel like running away from this whole thing, I feel like going somewhere, I feel like just dropping, or something should happen and everything should come to an end. So all this kind of language for the depression, or as I said, for the suspicious people. So the language of the person. So the mood, behavior, and language of person. When you find any change in this, one has to look for it कि इसमें कोई issue है. If you are very good with that person, on good terms with the person, and person listens to you, so try and talk to the person and ask the person that it is okay, that we can go and consult and take the professional help. If person is not in condition to listen to you, talk to the family members and let them know that just
Yeah, family member can talk to the psychiatrist or a
yeah, right,
psychotherapist and
right,
consult.
exactly.
Yeah, so we have to be on a lookout if there is somebody whom you think is going into depression or in mood swings or in any kind of mental illness. We all should be aware and should be ready to help. The first help we can do, identify people and take them to the right kind of therapist or the doctors, or any kind of lifestyle changes can help. Because जैसे आपने बताया कि नींद इज अ वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग, और आजकल के यंग बच्चे बहुत लेट सोते हैं, बहुत लेट उठते हैं, दैट इज देयर यूजुअल पैटर्न. So
Right.
if the 7-8 hours sleep is good enough and they sleep late and get up late, is it okay or it is also not okay?
Yeah. Actually, it is not okay. See, again, this sleep is pattern. It's more of a lifestyle, not nothing to do with the mental illness per se, I would say. Okay, but yeah, this lifestyle also affects somewhere or other. It would be more into the emotional health, I would say, that it would affect. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it is not only the amount of sleep, the hours of sleep, but it is also when you are sleeping, because that matters. The quality matters.
Yes.
Let's say it's like before 12 or 1 into 9, whatever sleep you are getting prior to that, that is very good quality sleep. So if you are sleeping at 2 a.m. and getting up at 10, you will have the 8 hours sleep, but the quality won't be so good, so you won't feel as fresh as you would feel otherwise with the normal sleeping hours.
So
Right.
moving with nature is the best way to move.
Yeah. So obviously lifestyle changes are required, whether they are not directly related, but obviously when your sleep is good, then the irritability is not much, and your emotional health is much better off.
So your food, your thought, your sleep, your actions, they all contribute to your healthy mental and physical health. So this is what I have understood from your thing. But also there is genetic makeup where illnesses, if they have passed on from one generation to another, or if they have come to you as a chemical imbalance or some kind of other issue is there, don't hesitate to reach out to the doctors. Don't hesitate to reach out for help. You can talk it out. And what I would like to tell all my viewers and everybody who is listening to it, see, if we take medication for our heart, for our stomach, for our thyroid, for our pancreas, for our diabetes, brain is as much part of our body and our as it is part of our system, and is a very very important part. So if there is a trouble there, don't ignore, don't think that it is some kind of stigma. It is very much part of you. It is very much as a important organ as is your eyes, your ears, your stomach, your heart, or whatever. All your limbs are important, your brain is also important. So give it also the importance and respect of other organs, and give it help if it is asking you. So जब भी कोई प्रॉब्लम आए तो बिना कुछ सोचे समझे डॉक्टर की हेल्प लें, अपने आसपास से किसी की हेल्प लें, काउंसलर्स की हेल्प लें, थेरेपिस्ट की हेल्प लें। और कुछ समझ नहीं आए तो बहुत सारी हेल्पलाइंस खुली हैं, आप वहां पर अपनी दर्ज करा सकते हैं या अपना बात कर सकते हैं। आपको ऐसा लगता है कि हम किसी से शेयर नहीं करना चाहते अपनी लाइफ के इंसिडेंट्स, तो बहुत सारे ऐसे भी लोग हैं जो बिल्कुल सीक्रेटिवली आपकी बात सुनते हैं, समझते हैं, और आपकी आइडेंटिटी कहीं पर रिलीज नहीं होती है। तो जब भी आपको कहीं प्रॉब्लम लगे, do not shy away, help yourself, help others. Anything else, Dr. Jyoti, you want to say to my viewers?
To sum up, I would say, as you rightly said, the mental health is very important. It is a part of us, okay? And it is like wherever medicines are required, please take it. There is nothing like, taking medicine means you are mentally weak, or there is any problem with your intelligence or with your memory. Nothing like that, because timely help can save lot of life, and even the quality of your life can be much better. So instead of dragging it on, take the timely help. At least talk to someone, because that talking will help you. The person will guide you whatever on the right path. So do not hesitate. And another thing is, it's for individual to take it and to reduce the stigma, as Anita has been saying all the time along, that stigma is what is keeping people away from it. Yes. So on our part, it would be really nice that when we start inclusive, we don't make very fuss of it. When we come to know that someone is going through depression, don't say something, oh, is it so, and why it had to be taken. No, so make it okay. It's okay. Like,
yeah, people should not shying away just telling कि हम thyroid की medicine खा रहे हैं, या diabetes की medicine खा रहे हैं, या kidney की खा रहे हैं, या stomach की खा रहे हैं, या heart के लिए खा रहे हैं। लेकिन जब ब्रेन की बात आती है तो सबको ऐसा लगता है कि अरे कुछ खराब तो नहीं हो रहा है, या हमारे ऊपर कोई नाम हमारा खराब तो नहीं हो जाएगा। Nothing like that. It's all right. It's our organ. It belongs to us. उसमें कुछ प्रॉब्लम है तो उसको देना ही है। हमारी सोच में यदि समस्या है तो सोच को बदलने में कोई हर्ज नहीं है। जब भी जागे तभी सवेरा। तो जब भी समझ आए तभी आप लोग मदद लें, और आसपास लोगों से बात करें, आसपास लोगों को ऑब्जर्व करें, और जहां तक भी हो सके सबकी हेल्प करना बहुत जरूरी है। थैंक यू सो मच डॉक्टर ज्योति। It has been very very enlightening and very very empowering session. I hope everybody will be helped by this kind of information, और लोग अपने जीवन में बदलाव लाएंगे, लोग अपनी समझ में बदलाव लाएंगे, और अपनी सोच में बदलाव लाएंगे। थैंक यू सो मच। मैं आप लोगों से मिलती रहूंगी।
for inviting.
Most welcome. And I'll be in touch with all of you with new subjects, new revelations, and new specialists. Thank you so much. Bye bye.